Sheffield Wednesday are one of the Championship's biggest clubs and might finally be ready to make their return to the Premier League.
Could this be their season? Well, let me show you why you should take over the Yorkshire Giants and get them back to where they belong. You might be too young to remember when Sheffield Wednesday were constantly in the Premier League, but for a while, they were actually one of England's best clubs. They're a team with 4 league titles, 3 FA Cups, 1 League Cup, and 1 FA Community Shield, and they should not be a mid-table 2nd division side. Thanks to a superstar manager, things might finally be changing, but can you get the club ready to return to where they used to be? Trust me, Wednesday have everything you need for an incredible road to glory. We could talk about history with Wednesday for hours, but I think it's more important to look at the last 5 years. That means we have to talk about Chansiri, one of the worst owners in football. Because of his lack of planning, Wednesday started the 2021 season on minus 12 points. They went down even after hiring 3 managers that season and didn't return to the Championship until last year. But 2023 is also important because that's when Chansiri made a rare correct call. He hired Danny Roll, a former coach for Leipzig, Bayern Munich and the German national team. What a decision this was. Roll would win promotion in Season 1 and in Season 2 shock the Championship by keeping a pretty poor Wednesday up with 3 wins in a row to end the season, all while playing super modern elite Gegen-pressing football. Playing like Danny Roll has to be a central part of any save with Wednesday. Some legend has actually added his tactics to my database already, and I'll add a bunch of other Wednesday tactics into a group so you have some alternatives if you don't like Gegenpress. But Danny Roll's tactics are intense. Not every player in your squad is going to fit in straight away. That means that it might be worth playing pre-season before you actually sign anyone. Or, if you start on a live start point date, begin by the end of November so you can have a few games to learn the style of play that Danny Roll wants to use. I can see Wednesday raiding 2nd tier leagues when they're looking for new signings, so send scouts to Scotland, Belgium and League 1 looking for good talents who will fit into the style of play. Of course, pace matters a lot to Danny Roll, and in FIFA, Sheffield Wednesday actually have the quickest squad on average in the entire Championship. If you manage a Season 1 promotion, the one player I would love to see reunited with Wednesday is Jamie Vardy. I don't know if there's any bad blood after his academy release, but the Yorkshireman returning to Yorkshire for his final year definitely seems like a fun idea for your 2nd season. As Ipswich are a similarly sized club to Wednesday, I would also follow their approach and try and sign the best of the Championship once you get promoted. Have a look at the team of the year just before the season ends and see how many of them you can pick up cheaply at the start of the next year. So, let's talk about why Sheffield Wednesday are the perfect choice for a save. First of all, there's their history. At 157 years old, they're one of the oldest clubs in the world and share the same city as the oldest club in the world. And obviously, they have a ton of history that is worth repeating. But there is also Hillsborough, one of the biggest and most traditional 4-stand grounds that is still used for football in England. A 40,000 seat capacity shows how big of a club Sheffield Wednesday are. It's bigger than 10 of the Premier League stadiums and surely should be on the list for EA to scan pretty soon. It's one of just 4 grounds in the Championship that have actually been left out of the game. Having a bigger stadium means you'll bring in more money, and in FIFA, more money means more chance of getting promoted to the Premier League. The history, manager and stadium combination is almost unmatched in the EFL, and honestly, probably in the entire game. You're not building a tiny team up like Bournemouth or Burnley, you're literally waking a sleeping giant in England. There's so much history that can guarantee your save will have a crazy amount of depth. In my opinion, playing in Yorkshire is one of the best regions to play in career mode. I said this exact same thing in my Bradford video, but one of my favourite things about managing a team from Yorkshire, like Wednesday or Bradford, is definitely the rivalries. In League 2, you've got Harrogate Town and Doncaster Rovers. In League 1, there's Huddersfield, Rotherham and Barnsley. In the Championship, you've got big clashes with Leeds and Sheffield United, and even though they're further away, Borough and Hull are also Yorkshire-based teams. While rivalry matches aren't that big of a deal in career mode, if you can keep track and try and beat every team from Yorkshire in your save, these matches can add so much emotion and a little bit more tension to every single game. Of course, playing a Sheffield Wednesday, you'll have to use the cups to beat some of these teams from Yorkshire, but it's still totally possible. If you want to make your save even more unique, why not try a Yorkshire-only challenge? Build a Premier League team using only players from Yorkshire. It's not as restrictive as it sounds. There's 5.5 million people from Yorkshire and you've got a decent talent pool already. Imagine a back 3 of Carl Walker, John Stones and Harry Maguire. And fun fact, Ramadel Falcao's grandfather was from Yorkshire and Erling Haaland himself was born in Leeds. So you're we've got some pretty exotic Yorkshiremen out there at the elite level. On other games, this is called a Regionaire challenge. So if you search for Yorkshire and Regionaire, you can get full lists of players from the region. If you want to include your academy in this challenge, just flip a coin. If it lands on heads, say the player is from Lancashire, and if it's tails, they are from Yorkshire. Right, so hopefully you're pretty hyped to try out Wednesday as your next save. So before we end the video, let's take a quick look at the squad and see who you'll be starting about. Maybe talk about where you can set up your academy scouts as well. So whether you keep Danny Roll's 3-4-3 or go for your own tactic, I can already tell you that Jamal Lowe will be your Season 1 top scorer. He's the most typical FIFA striker in the entire league. He's fairly tall, he's very quick, and can even finish. He's at his peak right now, so I definitely suggest scouting for a similar player, or maybe pick up a free agent like Jamie Vardy, like I mentioned earlier. Barry Bannon has been Sheffield Wednesday's best player since about FIFA 16, and it's still the case on FC25. He's very old now, but he's still got enough to dominate the ball in the Championship. With his agility, expect your modern legend to assist 10 goals as they play in your very quick front three strikers. Out on loan, you have Bailey Cadamartri. He's the son of former EFL legend Danny Cadamartri. The good news is that Bailey has the potential to be much better. His dad played for every single team in Yorkshire except for Sheffield Wednesday, but he really does have the potential to be a Premier League player if you do develop Bailey to be the player that his dad never was. And finally, Josh Windass, another son of another EFL legend. Dean Windass was a Hull City legend, so another Yorkshire club, and at one point Josh Windass was the highest potential English right winger on the entire game, but that was back on FIFA 18. Now he's hitting his peak as a 30-year-old winger. His stats are perfect to be an inside forward off the right, and he also has that role as a play style too. If anyone competes with Lowe for goals, it's probably going to be Windass. Now to end the video, let's talk about youth development. I don't know why, but in my head, Wednesday had a pretty prolific academy. It turns out though that they actually don't. Jamie Vardy is their only notable graduate in the past 20 years, and he was released from the club at 16 years old. I recommend starting with very low rated scouts. I'd focus one on England, one in Ireland, and maybe another in Scotland. That's 3 places that Wednesday historically like to sign players from. Really don't go overboard with your academy at first because it's definitely more of a long-term project. Yorkshire has a huge population, but other clubs in the region are definitely competing for the same talent. So this is how I do things to keep things a bit more unique and a bit more fun. Start with 2-star scouts. Once you're promoted, go to 3-star. I think that this helps to show the neglect that Chancery has with the facilities. Each season you survive, go up another set of stars until you reach the perfect 5-star super scouts that can find one Messi from Doncaster every single week. So, there's no real big challenge playing as Sheffield Wednesday. In fact, there's only one real target. Get Wednesday back to the Premier League and start recreating some of their historic successes. Whether you stick with Danny Roll's approach, try a Yorkshire-only squad, or carve your own destiny, you're in for a top-class save. If you decide to do a Sheffield Wednesday save, I would love to see your progress, so send me screenshots on Discord or on Twitter, where the links to both of those are in the description below. But thanks for watching, drop a like if you enjoyed learning about Sheffield Wednesday, and subscribe for more FIFA content. I'd like to extend this series past Yorkshire, so let me know in the comments which club you want to see me talk about next. But until that video, thank you for watching. Happy managing. I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.